So I'm from North Vancouver, BC. Started playing piano when I was 3.5 years old. I crawled up onto the piano bench and started plunking out the melody to Sesame Street by ear. And when that happened, that was sort of what set my path in stone. They enrolled me in music lessons. So I studied the Royal Conservatory of Music method, got as high as ARCT when I was 12, which was sort of the top level. And then when I was 15, I was in a car accident. And because I didn't have the technique to play the ambitious classical music that I wanted to, it kind of made sense to try something new. And that was what jazz was for me. It was bittersweet. So when I first moved to Toronto to study jazz at Humber, Loblaws had jazz. I was placed with a trio in front of the frozen foods. And I remember thinking, this is super cool and depressing. So that was my first paid gig that I can remember. But I was really in Toronto until 2008. And at that point, I had been asked to tour with Chris Bodie and then Paula Cole, and then also with Suzanne Vega. And my now husband was playing drums in Paula Cole's band. And I'll never forget meeting, at Euphoria Studios in Midtown Manhattan. And so I was in New York and actually was grappling with how to grow and thrive as a professional musician. It's so expensive to live there, but I got a call from a woman named Lisa Fisher. She's in this movie, 20 Feet from Stardom, and it was inviting me to audition for a project with Sting. And Sting was like, my number one. And I got chosen. I was one of 2 singers they picked. And then in the midst of all of that, I got pregnant. My husband and I got married and life forever changed. We had to figure out how to make it work to keep our family trio intact. I wish that someone had told me sooner, do not be afraid to make mistakes. There are some rules as you learn to speak the language, but then it's ultimately about figuring out what it is that you have to say, what it is that you have to offer that makes you unique. So you start off kind of mimicking and copying, but then you have to find your own path. And I just wish I'd had more voices speaking to that, sort of what I guess we could call the fertile soil that's in the valleys of trial and tribulation rather than getting to the top of the mountain, right? Because the growth actually happens sometimes in the darker, harder places. So I learned so much from watching Paula Cole. She left the music biz when she was kind of at her zenith. I was in her band and we would play a casino in Las Vegas. There were 20 people in the audience, I think, and it was like a 300-seat theater. And she harnessed what was even difficult for her, I imagine, as a performer, discouraging, and gave those 20 to 25 people the best show of her life. So she's tapping into something otherworldly, I feel. What I now view as her responsibility as an artist, right? Because it's a gift. You're offering people something, and you want it to be the best gift you can give. That's what we all hope to do, even when we've had no sleep, even when no one is listening. You just have to let the music carry you.
They shine for you and everything you do. Yeah, they were all yellow. I came along, I wrote a song for you and all the things you do. Was called yellow. So then I took my turn. Oh, what a thing to have done. And it was all